The best fights of the week. Tuesday, July 15th. At Korakuen Hall in Tokyo, Japan, flyweight Kenji Noda, currently riding the best streak of his career, will face a solid test against seasoned southpaw Daiki Kamayama, who has fought boxers such as Shokichi Iwata and Rika Kano. Wednesday, July 16th. At Kudo's Bank Arena in Sydney, Australia, there will be a card featuring several fighters coming off a loss who are looking to get back to winning ways in what should be relatively easy matchups. Among them is Olympic bronze medalist David Nika, who was defeated in January in a Cruiserweight World Championship bout against Jai Opataya. He'll be taking on Nicholas Karalampis, whom he's expected to beat comfortably. For those interested in the Bridgerweight division, a potential future WBC title challenger, Chris Terzievsky, will face Troy Pilcher on the same card. Thursday, July 17th. At Teatro Las Vegas Madrid in Madrid, Spain, a card will be held as part of the WBA Europe convention. The main event will feature solid super featherweight Musa Golem, ranked 10th WBA, whose only loss was a robbery, against young Argentine Maximiliano Jesus Ferron. Also, Cuban two-time Olympic gold medalist Arlen Lopez will fight veteran Mexican Paul Valenzuela at light heavyweight, and German middleweight Bujer Tahiri, undefeated but previously only matched against very low-level opponents, will take a step up in difficulty against Argentine Jonathan Wilson Sanchez. Friday, July 18th. No major name will fight on Friday, and the overall level will be modest. Possibly the most competitive event will be held at the Centro de Entrenamiento Athena Bailon in Panama City, Panama, and broadcast by COS. On this card, undefeated Nicaraguan welterweight Harvin Aguirre will perhaps face his toughest challenge yet against Mexican Alexis Alcón Rios, who lost by split decision to prospect Lázaro Lorenzana. Additionally, Panamanian Natalie Delgado, riding an 8-fight win streak, will pursue the biggest win of her career against Mexican former world champion Maribel Pantera Ramirez. In addition, Friday will feature the following bouts. In Ascoli Piceno, Italy, broadcast by YouTube, Eros Seghetti and Alexander Ramo will fight for the Italian light heavyweight belt. At the Boxing Club in Rio Gallegos, Argentina, broadcast by ESPN Knockout, Marcelo Gabriel Sanchez and Nicolas Ezequiel Jara will battle for the vacant Argentine welterweight title. At the Pachanga Resort and Casino in Temecula, United States, following his draw against Jesus Saracho, welterweight Louis Lopez will seek a clear victory to regain morale against the veteran and untested Adrian Vargas. At the Caribe Royale Orlando in Orlando, United States, broadcast by DAZN, undefeated Armenian heavyweight Gurjan Hovhannisyan will aim to crush a much smaller and less experienced Chris Thomas. Saturday, July 19th. There's no title more prestigious in boxing history than the undisputed heavyweight crown, which will be contested on Saturday between future Hall of Famer and all-time great at cruiserweight and heavyweight Alexander Usyk and young puncher Daniel Dubois. The bout, held at Wembley Stadium in London and broadcast by DAZN PPV, is a rematch of their 2023 fight, which Usyk won by knockout in round 9. Some believe that, regardless of who wins, this fight could signal a new era for the division, but even if it doesn't, it's about no fan should miss. On the undercard of the event, former cruiserweight world champion Lawrence Oakley will face South African heavyweight Kevin Lerena, who previously tested positive for a banned substance. Unbeaten Ukrainian heavyweight Vladislav Serenko will battle British fighter Solomon Dekers, and Ukrainian light heavyweight prospect Daniel Lapin will square off against another undefeated fighter, British and Commonwealth champion Lewis Edmondson. The event at the Ford Center at the Star in Frisco, United States, will also be broadcast on DAZN and will feature a WBC-WBO super flyweight unification bout between two undefeated fighters, American Jesse Rodriguez and South African Fumalila Cafu. Without waiting for Saturday's outcome, it was announced a few days ago that Rodriguez will face Fernando Martinez in a triple unification fight in November, so if the clash against Cafu is close and goes to the scorecards, it seems inevitable the American's hand will be raised. Also on the Rodriguez-Cafu card, American Austin Williams and Italian Edinosa Aliha will square off in an IBF middleweight eliminator, WBO number 1 super middleweight contender Diego Pacheco will wait for title opportunities to open up in the division, and compare his performance to Caleb Plant's by facing Trevor McCumbee, another fighter who previously tested positive for a banned substance, and Arturo Popoca and Dominique Crowder will meet in a battle of undefeated bantamweights. Finally, at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, United States, broadcast via Amazon Prime Video pay-per-view, Manny Pacquiao will return to the ring to face WBC welterweight champion Mario Barrios, a comeback that should never have happened. It presents clear health risks for a veteran with 72 bouts under his belt, and nearly 4 years of inactivity, stepping back in against a titleholder who, although being mediocre, is 16 years younger and considerably more active. Also featured on the main card, WBC Super Welterweight World Champion Sebastian Fundora will take on former titleholder Tim Tszyu in a rematch of their March 2024 clash, won by Fundora via split decision. Super lightweights Isaac Cruz and Ángel Fierro will meet again after Cruz edged out the first fight in February, and former world champion Brandon Figueroa will face former world title challenger Jote Gonzalez in a featherweight crossroads bout. Saturday will also feature the following matchups. At the SNP Dome in Heidelberg, Germany, undefeated German Simon Zachenhuber, ranked 12th by the WBO, will face fellow unbeaten Namibian Paulinus Njolanimu, ranked 4th by the WBO, in a clash of world-ranked super middleweights. At the Gran Canaria Arena in Las Palmas, Spain, local fighter Aramis Torres and Italian Joel Santos will battle to position themselves on the doorstep of a fight for the European flyweight title. In Chula Vista, USA, unbeaten middleweight Lazaro Lorenzana will look to break into the WBC's top 15 by fighting for a minor title against Argentine Brian Agustin Aragui, who recently scored an upset win on American soil. Thanks for watching. More info on our website.